So they're going to propose dorm competitions and propose changes in maybe the way we live in our buildings. They're doing educational sessions. So that'll probably start in the fall semester. They're putting it all together. They're going to present to the executive team. And if they buy into this, then we'll be running these. And then the last time, it's a wind turbine feasibility study. So they're going to determine, is it even feasible to have a wind turbine on campus? You can actually say, okay, what's the purpose of a wind turbine? Is it more of a demonstration project to show people, or do we really intend to generate electricity? I think they're going to do both of those. We definitely want, if possible, to have a situation where, yeah, we can actually have some feasible, good, cheap energy here on campus for wind. But what does that depend on? It depends on if we have enough wind, right? How do we know if we have enough wind? You have to do a wind study. So, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, you said this campus culture and attitude wasn't developed back until next fall. And I'm just wondering, you were talking about the low-hanging fruit. Someone wondered about a lot of the lake sensors, where switching things, one of the room they go on. Why can't we just start moving towards those, and then it doesn't require a person to flip the switch?
We're making progress with that in the halls. They've upgraded the CFL, and that's all of the factors are now on sensor as they run through the year, and that's made a big difference. So at 3 a.m., the lights are all left on and turned off.
So is that going to move through all the UC buildings?
Well, in my opinion, I'm sort of the building person. That's why I'm on the committee. And, I think some spaces maybe would be a sensor type. And I think there's sensors that are beyond just occupancy sensors as well. For example, in the forestry building, I was in the forestry building, I don't know about the forestry building, but it's a good example. I mean, there is this atrium area, and these lights are blazing away up there. Are there people in? Sure, there are people in. But, there's this, it's a beautiful sunny day out there. So if we only have occupancy sensors, it's not going to come into effect here. So we need photo sensors as well. If you look in the library, in the new part of the library in the back, there's photo sensors. So they dim down as the daylight comes in. And then you get into the idea of where should we be putting these motion sensors? Where should we be putting occupancy sensors? Should we be putting them in personal spaces? Spaces that we sort of own, my office. Or should I be responsible for that space myself? Or should we be putting in more common spaces, public spaces like restrooms, or classrooms that really no one doesn't really belong to as a personal space? So those are definitely questions we have to answer and we have to look at.
With the question that's stated about compact fluorescents, something that really irritated me earlier in the year is I wasn't here over at the Performing Arts, and we have quite a few incandescent light bulbs because we can't have the tubular fluorescent lights in the theater. Doesn't make sense. And I requested, because maintenance purchases and this is also light bulbs, I requested that we get compact fluorescent bulbs, and they said it's too expensive, and they would not do it. And I found that to be really disappointing and irritating, because then they suggested that I should buy the compact fluorescent bulbs, which I've never once paid for a light bulb out of my budget. My budget's not designed to do that. And our department does not pay for the power. So we have no incentive to do it, but as a university, we could be saving money and we could be working towards the renewable energy and saving energy, which we seem to be waving a large flag about, but we refuse to look at these smaller things like buying light bulbs or the sensors in bathrooms is a very proven, simple, straightforward. The sensors pay for themselves in 2 years. People are typically not in the bathroom 24 hours a day. And the public spaces and the light should be on when you walk in at night. Be hesitant to go into a room when the building is all dark. And these are very, very simple things that are very, very cheap. And from what I'm seeing, the only place where there's money for it is student organizations above and the dormitories. And I don't know that I really have a question, but as part of the statement for you guys, this is completely missed for academic buildings because of our budgetary structure. The people that pay for power have nothing to do with buying light bulbs. It doesn't happen unless someone makes a decision that we need to commit to that.
Yeah, that's one of the problems on campus, that who pays for the budget? So you could be running this refrigeration unit 24 hours a day, have nothing in it, but you're not paying. And some of the academic buildings do have, if you look at the Dow building, there are sensors in there for, if you go into the bathrooms, the light turns on. You notice on the switches on the wall in the Dow building, in the offices, there's 2 switches. It's not because they wanted to give a lot of money to the switch company. It could easily have been switched with 1 switch. Why put 2 switches? That's the idea of conservation, if you ask me. If you don't need the full set of lights, you only just turn 1 set of lights on. So I think that the buildings are going that way. I think you're probably going to go that way. Some of the new buildings.
I think there's a problem here because you really have to front load those costs. So from a budgeting standpoint, you look at what you had last year and say, I need to allocate this. And then really to actually jumpstart something like you're talking about would take more money.
Right. Well, I was looking at replacing 5 bulbs as they burn out and replace them. But maybe it's 5 bulbs, they don't pay for power, so they don't care. And I actually sent the email ahead of maintenance that pretty much got a letter about it.
Is that out of your realm, or is that in your realm?
No, it's certainly within our realm standpoint. But the only thing that's incorrect there is maintenance and utilities go hand in hand. We're responsible for both things, so we're definitely interested in reducing the cost of utilities. But we're also very limited in our budget with what we can do as far as increasing the cost of maintenance.
That's what I was talking about, front loading.
Yeah.
So you need this extra money to come
You need
in.
extra if you replace lights that are already working. If you do them as they burn out, it's very minimal. And over time, the power savings.
Yeah, and they don't have any money. So, they have the limited money, so somehow Mission Tech's going to need to invest, front load more facilities to actually make those changes.
And with that, I got a CPD2 grant earlier this year, and I think something exactly like CPD2 for sustainability would be absolutely wonderful and amazing. Generally, sustainable equipment costs a little bit more, and I can justify it, I buy it. If there was a grant I could apply for that would help pay that 25% more, that would save the university a significant amount of money in electricity, I'd be happy to apply for that grant and buy that equipment. But it's hard to justify spending the extra money when it's for the greater good and I'm going to go over budget at the end of the year.
All good points. Any other questions?
One quick question. We're building a brand new building down in the shore, the Great Lakes Research Center. Are we going with a CAVE certification on the building, or?
Yes.
Ed?
And what level are we going to require it, or is it just a part?
So the question was, we're building some new buildings on campus, and there's more buildings than just the Great Lakes Research Center. There's the new, is it dorms or apartments? New apartments on campus, and are we going for LEED certification on these buildings? Ed didn't know answer that question, and John can answer the question there.
On the apartment, we are trying to still
Yes, any new buildings, all new buildings will be LEED certified to a minimum of the silver level. And we're talking now about exactly how far we'll go with the Great Lakes Research Center. I mean, we've even talked about carbon neutrality, which is above platinum.